So now, moving on to the topic of INEC being prepared, they're assuring Nigerians that they are prepared for the November 6th election. But with insecurity in Anambra right now, would you say INEC is ready?
Well, this is not the first time INEC has faced such a situation of insecurity. I mean, the 2019, at the height of 2015 elections, you know, President Goodluck Jonathan had to, prevail on INEC to postpone the election by 6 weeks so that they could do some clearance operations in certain places and recover some territories from Boko Haram. So even subsequent elections in Borno State, in different places, INEC has had to improvise by holding elections in IDP camps, So in terms of Anambra, yes, we've had specter of insecurity, the threat by IPOB, to disrupt the elections hanging. But if you cast your mind back to 2017, when there was a similar threat that no referendum, no election, but at the end of the day, somehow the election held. I think, yes, the police say they deployed 34,000 personnel, 14 commissioners of police, and all of that, 100 strategic commanders. But the point is this: how much of it is factual? How much of it is on the ground? Mm-hmm. That is one. Two, beyond, policing and security management globally have gone beyond just show of force to mediation, conciliation, mediation. You reach out to people. Yes, these people have grievances. Yes, you say they are banned or is a terrorist organization, but the United States declared the Taliban as a terrorist organization, but they were still having discussions with them. They were still having dialogue with them, through back channels. There were even discussions, open discussions, So you don't foreclose the possibility of dialogue, Now, there is this threat that, okay, we will disrupt the elections. But if you were able to somehow, in 2017, go beyond the threat of no referendum, no election, then you could also now try to find a way to manage the situation so that the fear of people, about being harmed or being killed, you can do something about it.
I was just about to ask that question, but I was going to direct it to Victor. Do you feel like thousands of policemen on ground would actually help with the insecurity, or that might even scare people away from coming to vote?
Well, it will definitely scare people away from coming out to vote. But my greatest concern is this. Why between holding elections and people be killed, which one's supposed to take government action? Because I know that people are being killed every day in certain places. Why has government not taken the same measure? You are sending 34,000 policemen because of election. Then the Civil Defense Corps will send 24,000 to one state. But when the people are being killed across the country, why are they not deploying such number of people? That is my worry. So is election more important than human beings, protecting human lives?
Which is a constitutional responsibility.
Yeah? Do we wait election before we deploy such number of people, police officers or a security agency to a state? I've heard people say time without number that we don't have enough security personnel, and I disagree. I disagree on the basis that if you travel between Shagamu and southeast, then south, you will see multiple numbers of soldiers.
Over 50 checkpoints.
Mounting roadblocks. When the police have told us that there should be no more roadblocks, soldiers taking over the job of the police. They say there should be no roadblocks, but every 20 meters you see soldiers mounting roadblocks. Even the express, they had demarcated the express with drones that they fill with sand, so slowing down the movement of traffic. And yet people are saying that we don't have large number of security agency to police the country. That is not true. If those people that are mounting roadblocks on the road, if they are deployed to where we have crisis, are they not going to contribute to the security measure in this country? So to answer your question, it has a positive and negative it is going to have negative and positive measure, because some people will be afraid to come out. Why some people will say, okay, well, because we have security agency in the place or security personnel on the ground, let me go out. So, but we shouldn't have waited to this point. If a clergyman can be having access to bandits, talking about them vehemently, why can't the same people dialogue with IPOB? With swift action, the federal government has declared IPOB as a terrorist group. But there is a call from the governors, like Erufai said, that as far back as 2017, he has called on the president to declare the bandits as terrorist group. Has the president done so? The answer is no. The National Assembly has called on the president to declare them as a terrorist group. Has he done so? The answer is no. But why did he take the government, the president, such a swift action to declare the IPOB that are not killing people, that are not carrying AK-47 as a terrorist group? So you can see the way the government is handling issue. That is why we are not having peace in this country.
Well, any
because
attack that is happening in the south right now, it is automatically labeled IPOB.
Yes.
Anything that is happening, so we don't know if they are
when investigation has not taken place, has not been carried out, any killing they say IPOB. But is that how we are going to solve the problem?
Which was what I talked about, security management. I think what we do is more of security enforcement rather than security, management. We ought to be able to manage our resources in such a way that we can minimize threats through as many channels as possible, channels that are available. I mean, you don't have to really just label every attack in the south as okay, it's IPOB militants. You need to investigate.
That's it.
You need to investigate. You can't stand at the scene of an attack and just label it. You must go through the rigors of investigation. That is one. Two, what are the things actually fueling this agitation? How come the people are willing, the people of the region, is it acquiescence that they're saying, okay, we support what these people are doing, even though it hurts us, even though our people are affected, die in the process? Is that the case? Or is it that
Let me just quickly take this. Although the person did not indicate the name or where they are texting from, the person said, "Good afternoon to everyone in the studio. INEC is ready and election will hold in Anambra State. Politicians should go and do house-to-house campaign for them to win. The election will be free and fair. But INEC should try and see how the commission will stop vote buying, which is now common." Okay, yeah, the person did indicate the name from Felix. Thank you so much for that input, Felix. So what is your thought about that?
He says INEC is ready. INEC says they are ready. Fine. I wish them all the best.
What about the issue
I believe
of
the
vote
election.
buying?
I believe the election will this. Look, let me tell you, in Nigeria, what we have now is see and buy. See and buy. I mean, they tell people, okay, give or just when you vote. After voting, just flash the ballot paper to confirm that you voted for our party, and then meet us somewhere. We settle you. It's see and buy. So that's why you see politicians don't spend so much money these days on campaign adverts, on holding rallies. They don't, because they just at the ballot, just at the point of voting, see and buy. So, but how does it help our democratic process? It doesn't help us. It keeps us seriously backward. It doesn't help us. So the people themselves are complicit. You complain there are no roads, the economy is bad, but they call you, they tell you flash, see and buy, because of maybe 2,000 or 5,000, and then you collect it. So you have to look at the threat of hunger in your stomach, and in trying to manage that hunger in your stomach, what are you giving away over the next 4 years? To what extent are you giving away your freedom? Are you giving away your right to choose good leaders? Which is a problem. So I believe the election will hold in Anambra. You know, but also I think the security agencies should go beyond just going about, you know, shooting guns and all of that. They should go into conciliation, using elders and leaders in Anambra who are respected. Even in the Southeast, they are respected leaders. Anyway, you can use them to reach out to these guys that please, we cannot allow ourselves to descend into an atmosphere of chaos. Yes. You know, nature abhors a vacuum. So, but let's allow this thing flow. We will, you know, as we get to each bridge, we'll know how to cross it. That way, the interest of everybody is served. But when you just say, if you come out, then we have a show of force, how will you do that? Yeah. On election day, tell me on election day, if you've got election monitoring, they'll tell you we'll deploy 50,000. When you go out, you just see one policeman with a baton at the police station. Where are they?
50,000.
Where are the thousands? And then again,
well, who knows? They might be hiding in strategic places, waiting to swing into
and then thoughts. But somebody just sent you an SMS that there should not be vote buying. So if there hadn't been experience of vote buying in the past, the respondent wouldn't have emphasized. You see how that person, that respondent emphasized that vote buying, repeated it again and again. So you have to know that that is also an issue, because in deploying large numbers of security men there, it should not also be that this thing is being, that security agents become compromised. They should not be partisan.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Mr. Uche, I love what you said about the PDP party. They should come together to achieve the aim. Okay, I think the person is trying to refer to you. The aim of the upcoming 2023 election. Finally, the government of this country is a threat to Nigeria. God bless you, sir. Thanks.
I just want to make a little statement concerning the issue of vote buying. It is not because people are collecting a loaf of bread or gari, that is why politicians are not performing. It is of this issue of vote buying or this thing was introduced by politicians when they find out that people will no longer vote for them because of their failure of performance. And again, it is not every Nigeria that collect rice and beans. Since I've been voting, I've never collected bread and beans or rice from any politician, and I know you have not collected. Why are they not performing because of you and I that have not collected? Because we are always quick to say that Nigeria will collect gari, we collect rice, we collect beans. Is it every Nigeria that is collecting rice and beans? The answer is no. And again, before the introduction of this rice and beans that they are giving to the poor masses, what was the performance of politicians in this country? If they were performing before, will Nigeria be like this? So we should stop blaming the ordinary man who is hungry, just like somebody that is sinking in the water, and he has a straw to hold on to, so that he will be able to raise his head from the water to be able to breathe. You are blaming him that he should not take a gari to eat to survive. But some people are slaughtering cow. Some people in this country are using live ram to feed a lion in their home. We had a minister in this country before, a minister of petroleum, who was using a ram to feed his lion every day. How many times have I eaten a ram in this country since I was born? How many times have you slaughtered a ram in your house? But some people are using it to feed a lion. Well, some are using the food that human beings will not have access to eat to feed their dogs. But somebody who collects a loaf of bread to feed himself so that he'll be able to be alive, we are blaming him. That is not why politicians are not performing.
Well, I think
because if you conduct a survey in this country, now you find out that the number of people who are not collecting rice and beans are more than those who are collecting. But why are the politicians not performing because of those people who are not collecting rice and beans? Why are we always making reference to those, the few ones that are collecting rice and beans because of hunger?
That is how democracy.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We should balance it that they have failed woefully. So we should not blame it on the masses that they collect rice and beans. It is not every Nigeria that is collecting rice and beans.
Apart from the voters, we also know that at the collation centers, are the places where the actual...
That is where they win the election.
Takes place.
Where they win the election, not rice and beans.
So busy counting the ballots, and then suddenly some, ballot papers have been printed elsewhere,
will be brought in,
you know, and switched. So now I think INEC has a big chance to redeem its bad image, its tarnished image.
No, it's even about the electronic transmission.
Yeah, yes. It should make sure that everything works well. Because don't forget, we introduced card reader in 2015. What happened? The card readers malfunctioned. And then we started hearing excuses about it was this person that supplied it. It was the new technology, blah, blah, blah. That should not happen.
Sorry, even the card reader has no legal backing.
No, up till now.
And that was why many states where they ring the election, the ringer won in the court because they simply say that this card reader you are making reference to has no legal backing because the National Assembly did not approve of it. So concerning the electronic transmission, if it is not legalized, if it is not put in the electoral act,
if it is not waiting for the president to sign.
No, that is it.
But according to the constitution, because I was talking to some lawyers on this issue, they say after 3 months, as long as the National Assembly has approved the bill, after 3 months,
after 90 days.
No, you have to take it back. You have to take it back to the national.
They can override the president's veto.
Yes.
But it all boils down to politics. In the case of Nigeria,
yes, you have to take it back to the National Assembly.
Everything.
It's not automatic.
But when it has to do with the benefits, so take note of the common benefits of all the lawmakers, they agree. But when it has to do with what will improve the lives of Nigerians, common Nigerians, they pretend to disagree. So I think INEC should do to make sure that the electronic transmission of results is as seamless as possible, and then we should make efforts to move to electronic voting. Electronic voting, mailing ballots. We should move to that point, so you don't have to keep people in the sun, in the rain.
With that electronic voting, are we not going to run into something similar with the card reader? Because if anything fails with that electronic
voting, if it has any
voting,
go back, you see why INEC was able to escape. I'll give you 2 instances. INEC was able to escape because it had no legal backing. There will be consequences for actions. There will be consequences for missteps. Then again, if you look at it, you find out that the law previously, the Electoral Act previously, didn't make it mandatory for INEC to witness primaries of parties. That's why you have a hanging matter in Anambra, one of the political parties, where INEC said his officials left by 5 p.m. You know, and as at 5 p.m., no primaries have been held. But now, the National Assembly has made it mandatory that INEC must observe the primaries. So, you see, these are the things, these are the loopholes in the Electoral Act that politicians have been using to get away with infractions. But that's why I said INEC has a good chance now to make sure that it redeems its image.
Yes, I think it's even time we take this, because Sam from Kogi State is saying if INEC is ready, as they attend to the issue on ground, now those agitating for something, let them be called on a round table and know what they want. The poor masses are at risk. If necessary things are not done, I'm afraid that day may be odd and there will be low turnout. Thank you. So thank you so much, Sam from Kogi.
Let me point out something. If we don't remove money from politics in Nigeria, we are going nowhere. That is the truth. If we have electronic transmission of election, the system will the players will also manipulate it. Why? Because there's so much money in politics in Nigeria. That is why politicians are desperate. That is why we don't have decent people. When you listen to politicians in other places, you find out that there's no money in politics and they are not desperate. But here, once you become a councillor, you no longer board the public transport system. But over there, I saw a governor in one of the states in Nigeria. He was in America.
In a train.
In a train, holding the pole like a commoner in Nigeria. But once he comes here now, if he's moving from his toilet to the room, you will drive siren if it is possible. Yeah, so these are the so there's so much money in politics until we divert money. for politics.
One other thing
the desperation will remain.
One other thing we need to look at, if you in the clip that was played, was the issue, of the kidnapping, the abduction of the Labour Party candidate Obiora Agbasimano. I think the police must bring that guy out. They must have to rescue him because it's really unfair. If you are talking of, ensuring an orderly atmosphere before, during, and after the election, and then a candidate is being held by some people for political reasons, something needs to be done to make sure that that man is brought out.
If we start talking about security issues in Nigeria, we spend the whole day on this.
Yes, but in this case,
but we must talk about it.
In this case, God forbid that the election doesn't hold. There will be, it will not be a pleasant situation. So every effort must be put in to make sure that this election goes ahead. But the security agencies are in their thousands, I repeat, should not compromise the process. They should not be partisan. They must allow the people to make their choice. They must allow the process to flow freely. At the collection centers, there shouldn't be any magic taking place. And then again, the political parties, I believe they've recruited enough observers. Of course, CSO, civil society organizations, and other observers, so that when results are announced at the polling units, before they are transmitted electronically, you have, a proper collation. So I hope and I believe strongly that the election will take place, and that people will turn out.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, politicians will go to any extent to ensure that an election holds. Because power now, like I told you, they don't have any other job
than just the politics.
Yes, and just grabbing power.